Good morning, everyone. So I heard 10 minutes, so it's going to be a speedy presentation just to ensure that I cover everything. Obviously, we're here for the next 3 days, so open for any further meetings in the evening, early morning, or whatsoever, if you need to. So just a quick outlook on where we are. We describe ourselves as a diversified, focused company. Focus in West Africa. We do operate in 3 countries, so diversified over 3 countries, with about 2 mines in each of them. French West Africa, 2 in Côte d'Ivoire. We are today the largest gold producer in Côte d'Ivoire, with our ET mine and Agbaou mine. Ramping up fast in Burkina Faso. We should be in 2018 one of the top 3 gold producers in Burkina Faso. Thanks to Karma and to Houndé, our new flagship that went into production in October last year, and which is ramping up, quickly. And then we have Mali with our existing Tabakoro mine and the KALANA projects that we bought from Avnel back in June. Producing already around 700,000 ounces at all-in sustaining closer to 850 all-in sustaining. That's the guidance for 2018. When you look at our strategic objectives were set when I was appointed CEO back in 2016. The objective was to bring the company by a significant reshuffling in the portfolio and also building some of our new mines and get all our assets into a magic box that I will describe below, which is above 10 years mine life and below 800 all-in sustaining. So a target for 2019 of around 800,000 ounces, below 800 all-in sustaining and 10 years mine life. To achieve that, we're basically working on 4 levers at the same time, which makes it, a busy time for management. Operational excellence to drive our costs down. Building projects. We have, and that's one of our specificity, our own in-house project team that has been building Nzema back 5 years ago, then Agbaou 3 years ago, now Houndé that just been commissioned. The team has also moved now to the build of ETCIL in Côte d'Ivoire, and then they will have the KALANA project, so and improving the design from one operation, one project to the other. So pretty strong in-house team. Each of the projects have been delivered up to date, on time and on budget. In fact, most of the time ahead of schedule. Working also highly on exploration, and you will see that we are investing a lot on exploration, and at the same time on our portfolio and the balance sheet. Just safety records. I think that's, for me, a good way to look at how healthy our operations are managed by the GMs on a day-to-day basis. You can see that at the end of 2017, our lost time injury frequency rate was at 0.15. And also in terms of construction, if you look at our 2 latest projects, Agbaou and Houndé, that we just completed, were both built without any LTI during the construction time. In particular, pretty proud at Houndé, where we had above 8 million hours of work performed there without any LTI. In terms of operational excellence, a few graphs showing basically where we are. So you can see on the top left, production increasing year by year. At the same time, the all-in sustaining cost decreasing progressively with a target to be below 800 by next year. Cash flow obviously starting to take off, which is the most important. And this is why we're focusing more and more on assets which are generating the right level of cash flow. And at the same time, the average of our mine life increasing progressively thanks to our exploration program. Projects, we're probably one of the fastest growing company in West Africa with a very strong pipeline. We just commissioned Houndé, as I said, average 250,000 ounces and below 600 in terms of all-in sustaining. We're now building ETCIL, which will be about the same range, 235,000 ounces in average during the mine life, and below 500 for the first 5 years in terms of all-in sustaining, very cheap ounces, so obviously generating significant cash flow. Then we just bought, back in June, the KALANA project from Avnel, and we're expecting to publish an updated feasibility study for this project by year-end. This will be again 150 to 200,000 ounce producer, above 10 years mine life, and again below 700 in terms of all-in. And then we are expecting, thanks to the investment in our exploration, to have our next project coming up not from M&A, but coming up from our exploration. Quick snapshot on ETCIL. I mean, I won't describe, I mean, the key parameters of each of the projects. You can find that in our presentations or on our website. Just a quick update on ETCIL, which is progressing well. Construction started back in September. You can see here the SAG mill concrete pour, which has started and progressing well. It's about $412 million capex, with again commissioning expected in H1 2019, end of H1 2019. KALANA, which is probably the new projects that some of you may know or not. What's interesting with KALANA is, the previous team didn't have the right balance sheet to build the right plant. So their feasibility study was looking at 1.2 million ton CIL plant with an 18 years mine life. We're looking at something more around 2 million ton CIL plant and above 12 years. We right now have about 6 rigs going on in terms of drilling program over there, and we expect, I mean, to add significant new resources across 2018 and 19. All-in sustaining will be significantly lower than 800, and again, it's a 2.8 grams per ton, deposit with above 2 million ounces of reserves. So very, very strong IRR expected on this project. Exploration, as I said, we're working on operation, projects, and exploration. Thanks to the strength of our balance sheet, we're able to invest in our future. And we have probably one of the largest and most promising portfolio in West Africa, but again, very focused in 3-4 countries. One thing that we did, we was probably unusual in Toronto, is we came up about a year ago with an exploration strategy describing what we were expecting to invest, but more importantly to discover, thanks to our 5-year exploration program. So we'll be investing about $35 to $40 million in exploration on a yearly basis, compared to 10-12 million in the past, and we're expecting to discover between 10 to 15 million ounces of indicated resources. So our geologists are committed and they are accountable to how much they spend, and more importantly, how much they discover. So same accountability then on the operations, then on the project. Exploration are accountable. And when you look at, in more details, we even said, where we were expecting those 10 to 15 million ounces of indicated resources to come from. And you see that most of them should be coming from our 2 big flagship, ET and Houndé, which represent about 2/3 of the exploration results that we are expecting. Portfolio, I mentioned that we were improving progressively our portfolio. When you look at this chart, which is my favorite one, bottom axis is mine life in years, and the right axis is all-in sustaining. And what we want is to get all our assets in what I call the magic box, which is above 10 years mine life and below 800 all-in sustaining. So that's the bottom right box. So when you look back at when we came in through the La Mancha transaction back in 2015, that was on the left side where the portfolio was, and this is where we are at the end of 17, with objective by end of 19 to have all the assets in that magic box. So we've been able to sell assets. We don't have any string attached to any of them. So selling some assets which are not generating the right cash flow or short mine life, high cost, and getting the right projects to go into it. Balance sheet, very strong balance sheet. We currently have $480 million, of liquidity available, and on top of that, expecting more from the sale of Enzema and some financing equipment from the ET. So we have about $550 million of liquidity available, which should allow us to build safely both the ETCIL project, but also the KALANA project that I was mentioning. So fully funded for our portfolio of projects. Last 10 seconds. Obviously, we have immediate cash flow, on our existing operations, near-term strong growth from our project pipeline, and also long-term upside from our greenfield exploration. Thank you very much.